Hello, and welcome to another episode of This, That, and the Other. I recently ran across this album that I bought a while back, probably at a yard sale, I would imagine. It's a Captain Kangaroo album, and it's Captain Kangaroo telling the story of Finnerty Flynn and the Singing City. I remember watching Captain Kangaroo as a kid, mid-1960s or late 1960s, and I remember Captain Kangaroo and Mr. Green Jeans, Bunny Rabbit, Mr. Moose, Grandfather Clock, and whoever else was on the show. And I'm going to go ahead and get this thing queued up and we'll listen to it.
Hi, Captain.
Oh, hello, Mr. Moose. How are you today?
Oh, fine, I guess.
Well, what's the matter?
Oh, nothing. It's just that, well, this morning Mr. Green Jeans and I were having such a good time working out in the garden and singing, and it really was a lot of fun. And then this rain started, and he's gone to work in the attic, and it's just no fun anymore.
Oh, I see what you mean.
You know what? I wish we could just go on singing all day long.
You really do, huh?
Yeah.
You know, I know of a whole town that had to do just that. And I don't think it was as pleasant as you might think. Did you ever hear the story of Finnerty Flynn and the Singing City?
No, Captain, no.
Well, then you just sit back and listen, Mr. Moose, because I have a story for you. Now, if you'd like, you can just sit back and relax and listen to me read the book. Or, if you prefer, Mr. Moose, you may read along with me. If you read along with me, every time you hear, please remember to turn the page. Once upon a time, not too long ago, and not so very far from here, there lived a man named Finnerty Flynn. Now, Finnerty Flynn spent most of his days whistling from one town to another with a great big leather sack slung over his shoulder. This sack was with him wherever he went, and in it he kept 101 things, things to sell or trade or just to give away. No one had ever really counted all the things in the sack, but everyone was sure there were at least 101 of the most interesting things you could imagine, all the way from sunflower seeds to cuckoo clocks. And each one was hand-picked by Finnerty Flynn himself.
Excuse me, Captain. Well, what did he look like?
Finnerty?
Yeah.
Oh, well, let's see. He was tall and, well,
Did he look like Mr. Green Jeans?
Well, yes, Mr. Moose. As a matter of fact, he looked very much like Mr. Green Jeans. On one particular day, Finnerty Flynn was doing what he always liked to do, walking along the dusty road with his great big leather sack slung over his shoulder, and he was singing. Flynn with his 101 things. Things you need, things you don't, things you'll bring back and things you won't. And a calico cat with his whiskers made out of strings. Here comes Finnerty Flynn with his 101 things. Come and get it, magical rings and remarkable things. Come and get it, roller skate keys, whatever you please, we've got. Not to mention things to play, games and tricks, jacks and jump ropes and pick-up sticks, and a little brown clock with a bird who pops out and sings. Here comes Finnerty Flynn with his Finnerty realized that he was walking down a road he'd never seen before and was coming into a town he'd never heard of. He stopped to read the sign.
Welcome to McDiddle Corners. Please keep in tune.
It was quite an unusual sign. So Finnerty thought about it for a moment, and then he said,
Well, I certainly will do my best to keep in tune as soon as I find out what it means.
and off he went down the road. He hadn't gone very far when he came upon a very friendly man who walked up to him, shook him by the hand, and started singing.
Hello there, stranger, and welcome to our city. You'll find some parts quite beautiful, and others not so pretty. But mostly we're agreeable, and we hope you will be too. So hello there, stranger, and welcome to you.
Well, this man certainly was a very friendly sort, so Finnerty shook him by the hand and said,
Well, thanks. And hello there to you, too.
All of a sudden, the very friendly man's smile turned to a look of horror, and his knees started knocking together.
Didn't you mean to say hello there to you too?
That's what I said. Hello there to you, too.
And at that, the very friendly man became terribly pale, turned around, and ran as fast as he could down the road. Well, Finnerty thought that was very unusual behavior for such a friendly man, but he stored that thought away in a corner of his mind and continued on his way. Pretty soon, Finnerty came to some houses and some more people, and strangely enough, they were all singing too.
Good morning, Molly. Good morning, Minnie. How's your little daughter, Lily? Lily just baked her very first pie. Isn't that nice? Goodbye.
Finnerty continued down the road until he came to some stores, and some more houses, and more people. And strangely enough, they were all singing too.
May I help you, ma'am?
Yes, sir, if you would. I would like a little butter that's tasty and good.
Well, I haven't any butter, but I'll help you if I can. To some marmalade or jelly or some strawberry jam.
All this singing was a great puzzle to Finnerty, for the people did not seem to be celebrating anything in particular. They were just going about their daily business and singing as they went. Finally, Finnerty came right into the center of town, where there were many more houses and many more people all rushing about. And strangely enough, they were all singing too.
I have got so much to do that I must start, so I'll be through before it's time to start again on what I missed today.
And since I always rush like that, I've had no time to stop and chat or say hello or things like that. So this is what I say.
Hi, 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 that is how I'll greet you. Hi, 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 every time I meet you. It's quicker than how are you today and speedier than hello. And when I'm in a hurry, it's the shortest word I know, so I say hi, 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 short and sweet and simple. Hi, 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 nothing quite so simple. Yesterday at 2:30 I stopped to say how do you do, and wasn't back on time again till 3:15.
And now I talk so long with you, I'll have to work a week or two of overtime that's overdue. So if you'll pardon me, I'll just say
Hi, 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 hi. Hi, 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 hi. Hi, 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 hi. Every time I meet you. Hi, 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 hi. That is how I greet you. It's quicker than how are you today and speedier than hello. And when I'm in a hurry, it's the shortest word I know, so I say hi, 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 hi. Short and sweet and simple. Hi,
Finnerty Flynn stood in the middle of the McDiddle Corners town square, just watching the people rushing about and singing to each other. And then he climbed up on a box and sang, "Here is Finnerty Flynn with his 101 things. Things to wear, things to eat, big red apples all ripe and sweet, and some beautiful buns made of cinnamon fit for kings. Here is Finnerty Flynn with his 101 things. Come and get it, Japanese fans and aluminum pans. Come and get it, feathers and fish, whatever you wish we've got. Not to mention bells and beads, seeds and snails, picture postcards and copper pails, and a little toy train with a genuine bell that rings. Here is Finnerty Flynn with his 101 things. Here is Finnerty Flynn with his 101 things." By the time his song was finished, nearly everyone in the square had gathered around Finnerty Flynn, watching in wonder as he pulled remarkable thing after remarkable thing out of his leather sack. Finnerty was very pleased at all this, and he decided to begin the little speech he always made at such times.
Ladies and gentlemen, whether you need a hockey stick or a safety pin, Finnerty Flynn is the man for you.
Suddenly, all the faces of all the people in the square became very pale, just like the face of the man on the road. And everyone turned around and ran as fast as he could up side streets and down alleyways until at last Finnerty stood all alone on his box in the middle of the square.
And now, if you will turn this record over, we will continue with our story.
All right, go ahead and get this thing flipped over and finish the story. A second here, get some of this dust off the needle.
This is part 2 of Finnerty Flynn and the Singing City. And now Captain Kangaroo will continue with our story.
All this strange behavior was just too much for Finnerty. He couldn't for the life of him figure out what he had done to frighten the friendly man on the road or the people in the square. So he just sat down on his box, shook his head sadly, and sighed,
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Then Finnerty heard a voice. As a matter of fact, Mr. Moose, this voice sounded very much like yours. And when he looked around, he saw a little boy standing there, looking at him with a curious expression on his face.
Maybe you can tell me, little boy,
Said Finnerty.
why does everyone in this town run away whenever I open my mouth to speak? And why is everyone singing all the time?
The little boy looked very thoughtful for a moment, and then he sat down beside Finnerty and sang him the story of McDiddle Corners.
Everyone here in McDiddle Corners used to love to sing. So Mayor McDiddle made one little law which seemed the perfect thing. It said all of the people through all Christmas Eve. Now Mayor McDiddle said, isn't this fun? Oh, what a thing to do. So Mayor McDiddle made one little law just like the other two. It said all of the people shall sing at breakfast and lunch and dinner too. So we sang at breakfast and lunch and dinner. We sang at weddings, we sang at birthdays, and we sang on Christmas Eve. You see, we sang on Christmas Eve. Now Mayor McDiddle was ever so glad and clapped his hands with glee. Then Mayor McDiddle made one little law just like the other three. It said all of the people shall sing while working and while they are at school. So we sang at work and we sang at school. We sang at breakfast and lunch and dinner. We sang at weddings, we sang at birthdays, and we sang on Christmas Eve. You see, we sang on Christmas Eve. Now Mayor McDiddle said, this is the life, we'll sing forevermore. So Mayor McDiddle made one final law which topped the other four. It said all of the people shall sing what they're saying and never speak at all. So we sing from morning to noon to evening. We sing at work and we sing at school. We sing at breakfast and lunch and dinner. We sing at weddings. We sing at birthdays. And we sing on Christmas Eve. You see, we sing on Christmas Eve. Everyone here in McDiddle Corners used to love to sing.
Well, no wonder everyone was frightened when I spoke.
Finnerty said.
They've gone so long without talking, they've forgotten what it sounds like.
Oh, please don't talk, Mr. Flynn.
The boy said.
If you talk, you'll... I spoke. I didn't sing. And nothing happened.
That's right, my friend.
Finnerty said.
And you're going to be doing a lot more talking. It seems to me that singing is something you should do because you want to, not because you have to. Let's go pay a visit to this Mayor McDiddle.
So Finnerty Flynn and the little boy went off down the road towards the house of Mayor McDiddle. All of the townspeople scurried out of the way when they saw Finnerty coming, for they knew that he was the man who had dared to speak in McDiddle Corners. Finally, the little boy led Finnerty out to the edge of town and right up in front of a very large house.
This is where he lives, Mr. Flynn.
The little boy said.
Are you sure you want to go in? He doesn't have many visitors.
Well, I think someone ought to speak to him.
Finnerty replied.
But I guess it might as well be me. You wait here.
Very slowly, Finnerty Flynn went up to the big front door of the mayor's house. And then, with all the courage he could gather, he knocked. Nothing happened. So Finnerty knocked again. At last, there came a voice from inside the house. It was a very kindly sort of voice, and not at all the sort that Finnerty had expected. In fact, Mr. Moose, it sounded very much like our friend Grandpa the Clock. Anyway, the voice said,
"Come in, Finnerty Flynn. Door's open."
Which was another surprise for Finnerty, because he didn't know he had been expected. But he opened the door and went in. There stood a kindly old gentleman, and Finnerty knew at once that it was Mayor McDiddle.
"So, Finnerty Flynn, You've broken my rule.
the mayor said.
You have spoken in McDiddle Corners when you knew that only singing was allowed.
Well, yes, Your Honor, I suppose you could say that.
Finnerty replied.
But may I ask, sir, why you are speaking now instead of singing?
Suddenly, Mayor McDiddle looked very ashamed. He stared at the floor and didn't speak for a long while. And finally, when he did speak, his voice was very soft.
Because I can't sing.
He said.
You can't sing?
Finnerty asked.
Yes, Finnerty. It seems you've discovered my little secret. That's why I passed all those singing laws, because I love music very much, but I could never sing myself.
Of course you can sing, Your Honor. Everyone can sing. In fact, you do it every day.
Finnerty said.
Really? I've never heard me sing.
The mayor replied.
Well, you probably haven't been listening at the right times.
And with that, Finnerty pulled out of his sack a delicious apple turnover that he had baked himself that morning.
Tell me, Mayor McDiddle, what do you say when you see something good tasting like this?
I say, my, that looks good.
Well, that's singing.
You mean,
Sure, it's singing. You just take some more of it, turn it around a bit, add some words and go, and it's music.
It is?
Sure, it's music. And it makes the very merriest sound I know. Now suppose there was a little girl named Mary playing way over on the other side of the street. And suppose that you wanted to call her because it was time for her to come home. Just how would you go about that?
Well, I just say, Mary.
Well, that's music.
Oh,
Sure, it's music.
is that so?
You just stretch it out a bit, take the best of it, that is all you need, and you're singing.
I am?
Yes, you're singing.
I am.
And you've got a very beautiful voice indeed.
I never knew I could sing, but I just did it.
Of course, you could always sing, you only hid it.
Like a bird,
Like a breeze as it hums through the trees.
like a doll that you squeeze, I can sing.
And it's music, lovely music.
So my laws don't mean nothing. For now when I want to hear music, I'll just stand right up and sing.
Well, from that day on, you never saw a happier town than McDiddle Corners. As soon as Mayor McDiddle discovered that he could make his own music, he did away with all the old singing laws. And strangely enough, the singing didn't stop then. In fact, the people were so happy with their new freedom that they sang more than ever before. And when Finnerty saw that, it made him very happy too. For he knew that at last the people were singing not because they had to, but because they wanted to.
Making music, merry music, let the holiday begin. For now, every time we hear music, we will thank you. Finnerty Flynn.
Oh, Captain, that was a wonderful story. Thanks a lot.
Well, I'm glad you liked it, Mr. Moose.
You know, I can understand just how all those people in the Diddle Corners felt. You mean, having to sing all the time. And then, when suddenly they didn't have to anymore, what? Well, that would make me so happy I'd probably want to sing. La, 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 la.
Well, you know, Mr. Moose, you might just have your chance sooner than you think, because here comes Mr. Green Jeans, and look what he has.
A guitar. Where'd you find that, Mr. Green Jeans?
Well, it was up in the attic where I was cleaning out. Seems to be in pretty good shape. Like to give it a try?
Sure.
Well, let's see now. There's a song about a guitar that I think we all know. Let's try that. You ready?
Ready?
Ready.
Okay, I'll try it first. Here we go. I know you're not an airplane, you don't have any wings. You're just a plain old wooden box with a couple of fancy strings. yet it's very funny that every time you play, you pick me up and fly me off 10,000 miles away. 'Cause you can sing me anywhere, you can sing me anywhere, you can sing me to Singapore or Siam. Yes, you can take me traveling with a faraway tune. You just go clickety-clock and suddenly there I am.
All right, Captain, you try it now. You haven't got an engine, so you can't be a car. As anyone can plainly tell, you're a typical old guitar. And yet I'm just as certain that when you start a song, wherever I may be right then, I won't be there for long.
'Cause you can sing me anywhere, you can sing me anywhere, you can sing me to Singapore or Siam. Yes, you can take me traveling with a faraway tune. You just go clickety-clock and suddenly there I am.
Mr. Moose, it's your turn.
You're not a locomotive, you're much too small for that. You're just a simple violin who's gotten a little fat. But still you must have something for when you start to strut. If you should play a western song, California, here I come.
'Cause you can sing me anywhere, you can sing me anywhere, you can sing me to Singapore or Siam. Yes, you can take me traveling with a faraway tune. You just go clickety-clock and suddenly there I am.
All right, and that concludes the story of Finnerty Flynn and the Singing City. Hope you enjoyed it, and this record seemed to be in pretty good condition too. I didn't hear very many scratches, none, if any at all, as a matter of fact. Very good condition, and as always, thanks for watching.